One area that I have to say I really disagreed with you on, and that is the dating single women. I just personally know far too many men who have entered into a relationship with a woman who've had children in the past, myself being one of them with my husband, that have worked out beautifully. Can you just briefly tell me why, again, you are so opinionated about this part?
It's always a single mom that pushes back on that, right? It'll be a heavily tattooed woman that will push back on the tattoo red flag. So I explained in a dedicated chapter in the book that there's a lot of liabilities that come with inviting a single mom into your life. You generally have a lot of responsibility to that child with no authority. And that's not always the case, but I think for the vast majority of men, they find themselves in a situation where they get frustrated raising the seed of another man with none of the benefits that come with it. That child doesn't have your last name, doesn't have your DNA. There really is no benefit, in my opinion, to being a cuckold, which is the position that you put yourself in when you decide to invite a single mom into your life with a child from a prior relationship. Now, in my book, I did say that there might be certain circumstances where it could be a better idea. For example, if you're a single dad and you have a 7-year-old daughter, and you meet a woman and she's a single mom and she has a 7-year-old daughter, maybe they're in the same school together, maybe they get along well, that might be something that you might want to contemplate. But when you invite a woman in your life with kids from a prior relationship, you're taking on this financial burden, the responsibility, and all of those things with none of the benefits that come with it. So you're always better off dealing with a woman that doesn't have kids in tow from prior relationships.
If you can, as a man, find a woman without that baggage, and I hate to call even kids baggage because they're like, I view them as being bonuses, not baggage. The number of kids, the situation around why she's no longer with the father. But if you have an otherwise exceptional woman, I just don't think that you should forego that for the chance of meeting someone who might be less of a quality woman who doesn't have kids, because eventually the kids grow up and they go away.
That's what moms always say, but they never truly go away. Like, I've had friends that have been in relationships with single moms, and it's like even in their 20s, they're still paying for their university, they're paying for their car. When they do dumb shit and they got to bail him out of jail or something like that, the money comes from his account. So they never really truly go away a lot of the times. But you're right, there can be situations where it may maybe a little better than less than ideal, but it's still like, do you have any sons?
But yeah, I have my 2 older boys that are 23 and 21 are both boys.
Okay, so let me ask you this question then. Let's say your 23-year-old says, Mom, I'm dating a couple of gals right now. One of them, she's so sweet. She's really nice to me, but she's got a couple of kids from her prior relationship, or she's got 2 kids from two different fathers. And I have this other girl who doesn't, and she's also sweet. But I don't know which one to pick, Ma, sort of thing. I think the vast majority of parents would be like, you pick the girl that doesn't have any of the baggage. Even single moms, most of the time when I have this conversation, will say, you pick the girl without the kids in tow, son, because you want to have your own children. You don't want to raise somebody else's kids, right?
If she tells you, no, I already have kids, I'm not interested in having kids with you, and that's important to you, then no, they're not a good fit. If all things else are equal, I'm with you, Rich. But it's when you have a fantastic woman who happens to have kids versus a not as great woman who doesn't, I'm going to choose the fantastic woman, because eventually the kids, the most of the time, they will go away. I definitely think it's something that men need to look at, and it does add complexity to the whole evaluating whether this woman's going to be somebody who you especially want to marry, and especially if there's someone like you, Rich, who isn't interested in marriage whatsoever, then I wouldn't even consider that. But if your goal is to get married and have a family of your own, I wouldn't preclude a single mom.
If your goal is to have a family of your own, why are you inviting a woman into your life that already comes with children?
Because you can still have more children. My husband was very clear with me, and he said, I must have kids of my own. I tried to be that, well, I have 2 boys of my own. Isn't the same? No, it's not the same.
Do you guys have children together?
Yeah, we have our twins. They're 11.
2 more. Okay. Well, good for you.
Yeah, so I had to negotiate with him. I was like, okay, I'll give you 1. And then I ended up with 2 with the twins. And
they got 2 in one child.
He was happy.
Mhm.
it was that a very like hard stance line, and he was willing to forgo, despite how he felt about me, he was willing to forgo our relationship because having his own biological children were very important to him. And
That's
it was a hard
exactly
line for
how it
him.
is important to men, and how and why men should never overlook that.
Many